All right, let's go through one example of external fragmentation. So we have free blocks of 8, 5, 12, and 3 kilobytes, and we have a request for 4 kilobytes. We're going to compute the first fit, best fit, and worst fit. Okay, let's look at the first fit. Basically, this means that we're going to scan the free list from the beginning and pick the first block that is big enough. So again, our blocks are 8, 5, 12, 3, and the request is 4. So when we go through it, the first check is 8 kilobytes, and obviously 8 is greater than 4, so first picks the 8 kilobyte. So we're going to allocate 4 of the kilobytes out of that 8 kilobytes, so the remaining blocks would be left with 4. So we're going to compare that to 4. This works, and then what's remaining, again, we're just subtracting. We have 4 remaining kilobytes. So then we are going to write the new list, and the new list, again, it's going to be 4 kilobytes followed by 5, 12, and 3. Now we're going to compute the external fragmentation. What this means is we're going to just add up all of these. We're going to get the sum, and that's going to be 24 kilobytes of total free space. And of this is our largest free block. So in order to get the external fragmentation, you take the total free block, and then you're going to subtract it by the largest, which is going to be the 12 kilobyte. And what we're left with is, again, 12 kilobytes. So for the first fit, we allocate from the 8 kilobyte block, we are left with only 4 kilobytes there, and external fragmentation of 12. Now let's look at the next option, which is the best fit. Again, this is going to pick the smallest block that is still big enough for the request. So going through our list again, we're looking at 8, 5, 12, and 3. And we only need 12 kilobytes. So when you're looking at this, the smallest of the list here, it's going to be 5. Again, it's big enough to satisfy the request. So because we're taking 5 kilobytes, we're going to subtract that from the request in order to figure out what is left, which is going to be 1 kilobyte. This is going to be the smallest. Now, our new frame list will be 8, 1, then 12, and 3. And adding all of this up, we're again going to get 24 kilobytes, and our largest block, again, it's going to be 12. And when you subtract these two together, we're left with 12 kilobyte for external fragmentation. So for the best fit, we allocated the 5 kilobyte block. We were left with 1 kilobyte behind, and our external fragmentation is 12 kilobytes. If you notice, it's the same fragmentation as the first fit, but the shape of the hole is different. There's the difference between 1 and we have 4. So the hole is smaller versus our first fit. Now I ran out of space, so I'm going to move this a little bit. Should probably shrink it a little bit. I'm going to shrink it so that I can do the next part, which is going to be worst fit. Okay. For worst fit, we're going to pick the largest free block available and we're going to allocate that. Now, if we look at our original list, 8, 5, 12, and 3 kilobyte, the largest block here is going to be 12. So we're going to use that for the worst fit. So we'll allocate the 12 kilobytes for the 4, and obviously if we subtract that, we're going to be left with 8 kilobytes. And if we're going to update our list, it's going to be 8, 5, 8, 3 kilobytes. And the summation, or adding all of this up, again, it's going to be 24 kilobytes. And if we're looking at what is the largest block, it's going to be 8. So we'll subtract that, which we're left with 16 kilobyte as our external fragmentation. So for the worst fit, we allocated the 12 kilobyte block. We were left with 8, and our external fragmentation is 16, which is a lot worse than the other two, just looking at the size. Again, for first fit, our external was 12 kilobytes. However, the size of the hole was only 4, whereas with the best fit, the size of the hole was the smallest, and for the worst fit, the size of the hole was the largest. And if we're comparing this, in particular, the worst fit leaves more unusable scattered space than the other two strategies. Again, best fit and first fit tied on total external fragmentation, even though they break up different blocks. All right, you guys can practice the other problems on your own.